Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Metroid Prime. In the last episode, we went on a bit of a kind of collect-em-up slash collectathon, or whatever the appropriate word is. Basically, we gathered a lot of stuff. We got the plasma beam that I'm currently showing off, and we got an absolute ton of missile expansions, and power bomb expansions, and energy tanks, and actually not many scans. I think last episode was probably one of the fewest scans we've ever got in one episode, because we've got most of the scans left in the game. I believe there's 9 left, so that's pretty cool. This episode, we'll be starting off doing about the same kind of thing of gathering stuff. And actually, I expect that will take the rest of the episode, but then after that, there's a clear kind of run to the end of the game. There's only going to be 2 to 3 episodes left after this one, so that's kind of cool. As ever, flying pirates, so hilariously easy to take down with a charged plasma beam shot. There you go. I was talking about how hilariously easy they were to take down. Eventually, they actually technically do die from one shot, in that if you hit them with one shot, then they will just basically... they'll set on fire and then die quite quickly. They will die from the one shot eventually. Anyway, let's grapple off that. And then... I hate doing this transfer. Huh. I found a better way of doing that. You have to kind of like... I think I wasn't properly letting go of Z. I was kind of like half holding onto it. You've got to clearly let go and kind of repress it. Otherwise it doesn't quite work. Anyway, if we come up here... where am I going up to? Can I can't make that jump, can I? Can I make that jump? Oh. Nope. I've confused myself. I think I can just make that jump. It's been a while since the last episode. Look at that! There's a door! And it's behind this thing, and for once we can't scan it. But that still means it's usually... cheeky bit of Bendesium. There's this red door behind it, which you can see from the map. You just don't know where it is. And BAM! And there you go, there is a Chozo artifact. The Artifact of Spirit, the 11th of 12. And we're actually more than halfway through the artifacts now. We've got another 5 to go, which we'll be getting mostly this episode, actually. Now, our kind of like final port of call, we still actually got another bit we can get to in this room, even higher up. Because if we use this glider cleverly, didn't want to say cleverly before I actually jumped onto it, that would have looked daft. But there's actually another way we can go through there. Now, I need to make it across there, and I don't think I can do that just on my own beans, so let's use this guy's. Borrow some beans over here, and whoop! Oh, look at that, going into Morph Ball in midair. I am so cool. And bam! Bam! There we go. Power Bomb expansion, only one of those left to go as well. Now, oh, why did I bother getting out of Morph Ball? Now we're actually going to do a little bit of journeying. We're going to go down to the gravity chamber, the place where we got the gravity suit, obviously enough. Now here in the gravity chamber, if we come up here, this is a slightly odd one in terms of it's not very clear what you have to do. But first I'm going to kill these bombos just so they don't kind of infuriate me. And then, if we scan it, there's a viable attach point for the grapple beam inside this kind of mass here generally. But if we missile the mass, nothing happens. If we plasma beam the mass, that's what I meant to do. There is, quite as it says, a viable grapple beam attach point. I mean, the attach point is certainly viable. My ability to use it slightly less refined than it perhaps should be. I have a lot of trouble with the grapple beam on this for some reason. Anyway, if I spin around, we should just be able to see where... there we go. There's a missile expansion. Yay! Damn, I was hoping I could land straight on it. Anyway, with that done, we've got one final thing to gather in Phazon Drifts before we're done here. Forever! So let's head back to the Frozen Pike and the transport access. So, here we can see, well, there's this bomb boob, I'm going to ignore it for now, and then behind some ice, there is an energy tank, specifically our second to last energy tank in the game, and our final item in Phazon Drifts. We are done here. Forever, which is pretty cool when you think about it. So with that, I'm going to head down here, back through Magmore Caverns, all the way through there, and then back to Tallon Overworld, specifically to the Root Cave. So here, this is the section that we can have to use the invisible platforms to advance up to. This is cool, I can still see bits of water hitting my X-ray visor when I move forward. So just like the water effects in this are half of what bloody makes the game of just making it look seriously impressive. Anyway, over there this time is our goal, which is a red door, which of course we couldn't access because we didn't have the plasma beam last time we were here. Simple things. Missile expansion. So we only briefly wanted to duck up here to Tallon Overworld. I'm now going to go all the way back down the root cave. And I'm specifically going to go back into Magmore Caverns all the way through to the shore tunnel. So, here at the shore tunnel, there's this kind of shielded bit, but as you can see, it's looking a bit broken and bollocksed in the middle. Indeed, if we scan it... There we go, I knew there was a scan point for it somewhere. Stresses fractures in Bendesium frame. I really can't stress enough how everything apparently now for the rest of the game is made of Bendesium. But we get something really cool from this. We get the Ice Spreader! So this powerful attack uses 10 missiles. Use the Ice Beam and press and hold B to charge. And then, so this is the beam combo with missiles for the Ice Beam. Because that's obviously you tend to get them in the order you get the beam. So we got the Wave Buster a while ago, and now we've got the Ice Spreader. Oh, that was weird. That shot, I swear, it didn't render. Oh, I've gone the wrong way. That shot from the plasma beam looked like it didn't render properly. But anyway, let's check out the Ice Spreader. It does about what it expects. So it uses 10 missiles and goes boosh. Very useful on large groups of crowded enemies, or if you want to pin a number of enemies, or just one enemy even really, in place. I honestly don't tend to use it that much, but it is pretty cool as a kind of concept. Anyway, we're kind of here to the monitor station, but what we actually need to do is head all the way to the top of this room. So, up here, if you remember back to just even when we only just got to Vendrana Drift, it was the first time we got the space jump boots. We came up here to the Warrior Shrine where we got the Chozo Artifact of Strength, I believe. But there's something else we can do here. Surprise, surprise! Guess what this sigil's made of? You actually can't scan it, but I assure you, it's Bendesium. And we're delivered down here, and I can't see where I... There we go! Another Powerbomb expansion. Actually, the final Powerbomb expansion. A few more things to quickly clear up. Oh yeah, that's the thing kind of now actually, the only way down out from here is... The only way out from here is I have aha, there you go, through there. And this actually drops you out back in the monitor station, where we kind of were before. Anyway, no, this isn't the monitor station, that's the Fiery Shores, I lied. For Fiery Shores Tunnel or Transport Tunnel or something like that. Anyway, the important thing is we're still staying around Magmore Caverns and we're going to head to the Triclops Pit. Now, what we're doing here is quite an easy one to miss out. It's a missile expansion, but what you have to do is spot these little fuckers. So these are kind of invisible platforms, and they are the ones, like the other ones in this room that we used ages ago. They will sink down the longer you they'll sink down the longer you stand on them. And so there's 3 of them in a row, and then you can see ahead of us, there's a missile expansion behind that wall. Because we can't get close to it, we know it actually can't be made of Bendesium because there's nowhere to drop a mine, so... mine and power bomb. So a super missile does it. Gets us a missile expansion. You know, I'm not even gonna... pointer. I'm not even gonna bother cutting because, basically, we're only 1 room away from where we need to be. He says, and then gets lost, which kind of defeats the purpose of not cutting. They're odd kind of doing these episodes like this one, these kind of very heavily edited ones, but... That's one of the reasons this series has actually been shorter than I expected, because so much of it has been cut out, because there is so much backtracking here. Here, we can just hop over the top of this now without having to go through a silly kind of like morph ball thing. And now we're kind of like, this is where we want to be. There's a number of these rooms that have this kind of structure of lava with a kind of pillar in the middle, and most of them now you'll find have grapple points for kind of quick access around them. If you bring up the X-ray visor... Oh, we're actually in the wrong half of the room. That's why I bring up the X-ray visor. Just nothing. There we go. If we smash through here, and then smash through here, and then break those as well. Now, this is what I was talking about. If we bring up the X-ray visor, we'll see a Chozo artifact. Look at that, right in the middle of the room. Like we just did, another super missile does that. Fortunately, doesn't somehow destabilize the cavern or anything, and gets us another Chozo artifact. This is the Artifact of Nature, the 8th of 12. Anyway, since we're kind of at this end of Magmore Cavern, because like I've talked about, Magmore Caverns is basically a big long line. Oh, hello, Mr. Magmore. Let's test out the new Ice Spreader on this Magmore actually while we're here. Not the X-ray visor. Oh my god, he was right up in my grill. Boosh! Oh, it doesn't even really do anything unless it's a surface, I suppose. It's still fun anyway. I mean, that was basically just the same as a normal ice beam shot that cost 10 missiles as well. But yeah, We're all the way at this end of Magmore Caverns now, so we're going to head up through the Chozo Ruins, through a lot of the Chozo Ruins, to the Hall of the Elders, my favourite place that I keep going on about. So, I've already taken the liberty of taking out the Chozo ghosts here, and it shouldn't be much of a surprise what we're going to do. That there's 3 of these slots, and the one on the right, the plasma shield, is one we haven't actually used yet. This one's quite different to the other 2, so if we drop a bomb in it... See, because the other 2, like, cause the statue to throw you a different way, but actually that's not the case here. This one creates a kind of, like, secret passway to the Under Chamber. This is the Elder Chamber, even, that contains an artifact. So, this is the Chozo Artifact of World, which is a really odd translation, but yes, this is the 10th of 12. That's us now done on the kind of surface levels. We've still got actually a few more things to collect in Phazon Mines before we continue properly down the mines. So we're going to head over to the mines and to the mine security station. Now here we can see there is this red door. And obviously we need to get through that with the plasma beam, but we can't actually do that yet. So the first thing we've got to do is actually make our way through the entirety of this room up to the top. Now, up here at the top, there's this grate. I'm not even going to bother scanning it. You can already predict what it's going to be made of. With that, you can scan what's through it, and partial security access achieved. Force field inactive. So the force field goes down. Now what we need to do is just go back down there, and we can now access this room with the plasma beam. Because it's the plasma beam, there's something cool and plasma beam related inside. So this is our final beam combo. This is the flamethrower. It's saying it uses continuous fire. This is basically whereas the kind of ice spreader is more like the super missile, this is more like the wave buster, and it also can fire a continual stream of fire. It doesn't auto-home like the wave buster does, but it sets targets on fire and is a lot more powerful. We'll test it out in a bit though. I'm not going to test it now because I'm going to save it so I can test it out in combat. And speaking of combat, let's head up to Elite Research. Now this is a slightly unusual one here. You see in the center of the tank there is this thing. This is a kind of special case of an Elite Pirate. This is called the Elite Pirate Alpha. We scanned it earlier. And, yes, it says, Elite Pirate Alpha. Status tank hull reinforced with Bendesium alloy plates. So we're going to do something extremely ill-advised. And run away! So, this is an interesting monster. This is actually a new scan, and it is a critical scan. This is the only one of these in the game, so scan it now. This is the Phazon Elite, an Elite Pirate infused with energized Phazon. This Phazon-charged Elite Pirates rely more on their wavequake generators, opting not to carry the more vulnerable plasma artillery cannons normally used by Elites. The direct fusing of Phazon into their bodies provides a tremendous level of energy. That drastically lowers lifespan that comes with this process is of little concern to the pirate research team. So they kind of fight like a more aggressive Elite Pirate, essentially. They've still got the beam repulsor thing that's really annoying. But as ever, I'm going to charge the plasma beam and wait for them to use the wave crate generator. When they do, flamethrower! And that's how the flamethrower works. It costs like 10 missiles to fire up and then drains one every couple of seconds. But it's basically a much more powerful wave buster. And it's a bit more fun than doing the super missiles. I think 4 super missiles these guys take. But this is a good opportunity to test out the flamethrower we've just obtained. So, oi! Down he goes. An easy one you might think to miss, but drops a Chozo artifact, which actually means that at least that fight with it is technically unmissable, because Chozo artifact acquired, this is the artifact of the warrior, the 6th of 12. Yeah, that's actually unmissable, because you need all the artifacts. We're only missing one artifact now. But yeah, you need all the artifacts to be able to get into the impact crater, so you actually can't miss that with Battle Out, but you can forget to scan him very easily. Anyway, that's actually finally now kind of, I suppose the term I'm looking for is up to date. We've kind of got everything I wanted to gather, so now let's actually continue on with the game. Let's head back to the dynamo where we obtained the power bomb so long ago. But just before we enter the central dynamo is this corridor, Dynamo Access. And here is another kind of Elite Pirate that's now broken its containment. This is just, after the Phazon Elite though, this should be a walk in the park, because this is just a regular, non-Phazon elite, and they're much easier. The flamethrower would take this out in seconds, but I'm kind of running, not low on missiles, but they get 2 super missiles and it's down. They are very weak, it's hilarious. And now we can actually proceed to where we were. This place, I imagine, will be full of ice troopers, yeah. Oh, this will be a chance to use the ice spreader, at least, maybe? Boosh! Yeah! That's the ice spreader in action. Freezes lots of things over a large area. Great fun. Anyway, I'm actually just fucking ignore those guys, honestly. I've got so much energy, I can just afford to be shot at a bit. There's some Bendesium rubble here, which we can just smash through. And an ice beam door behind. Let's go through. Oh my goodness! Right, let's see if we can do something really clever and take all of these fuckers out in one. Wallop! Oh, that was immensely satisfying. Let's bring up the wave beam so we can open this door and enter, Metroid Quarantine A. Now, we have an important kind of milestone here. If we scan this, warning, force field disengaged. Metroid containment area will be breached. So now the space pirates freak out because the Metroids are free, and that's a kind of important thing because now there are in almost every area of the Phazon Mines, including all the ones we've just come through that didn't have Metroids, will now have Metroids instead of space pirates, or in some cases as well as. So basically, once you disengage that force field, Metroids essentially overrun the rest of the mines. But we won't be going back there for a while. We'll be kind of proceeding on because the rest of these mines have a kind of very different feel because this is basically the kind of like Phazon Infusion and Metroid Quarantine kind of area. As you can see, there's these invisible platforms here. So these have a much less kind of industrial feel. And you can actually tell the music's changed to this game's, essentially, what I think the thing is just called Phazon Area is the soundtrack piece. Because basically, whenever Phazon's around, wherever it is, you hear this kind of slightly creepy, not music theme that goes with it. Oh yeah, and as well, you take damage from standing in Phazon. Not much, but, well, nothing's really much when we've got this many energy tanks, but it is just something to kind of be aware of. If we get the X-ray visor up here, there's more invisible platforms, and spider rails will take us to that door up there, but this is an easily overlooked secret. This way opens up, and wait for it. There's a thing as a, there we go. There's a limit on how many power bombs you can use in rapid succession, but yeah. So if you power bomb through both of them, which makes this kind of easier to miss, you get to this area, and this is a hell of a little kind of like platforming section that we're about to do here, because now, I thought there was another invisible platform here. Yes, there is another invisible platform here. I didn't imagine it. That's good. And once we're at the top here, missile expansion. That one's quite out of the way and quite difficult to get to if you don't really know what you're looking for. Anyway, we should just be able to now, let's see if we can jump back down onto that invisible platform down there. Oh, we can land on this incredibly thin girder. Dude, parkour master right here. Let's hop onto these rails. And transfer down. Oh, I'm getting good at this game. And on through here. Now we get, weirdly enough, burrowers that we haven't seen since Magmore Caverns. And now we get another elevator and another awesome view of the impact crater. So this is kind of, as I said, Phazon Mines is split into 3 levels. We're now, for the first time, accessing level 3. Wow, that looks cool. I love the scale of it. Like, this game still looks good, I'll say. I won't say it looks beautiful, because it still does look polygon-y and stuff like that, and like character animations are limited and stuff like that. It's not still an amazing looking game, but it still does look good. Anyway, we're now into kind of the Fungal Hall. I think this is called, oh no, this is Fungal Hall Access. Easy enough to obtain missile here, as long as you've got enough energy tanks. Hop down into the Phazon, and roll under there and grab it. Basically, yeah, you just got to be willing to take the hit there. If you've not been collecting energy tanks at all, that might fuck you, but you're not going to take realistically much health from that. Now we haven't seen, actually we've literally, oh fuck! We've only actually seen one of these guys in the game, and they never actually attacked us, but these are Hunter Metroids, which are the kind of adolescent Metroids, and they're really annoying because they can kind of get you from a range. Like all Metroids though, they're extremely vulnerable to being frozen and then shot at with the missiles. That's the kind of general way you should take on any Metroid-based enemies. Oh, there's another one actually much closer to us. They've got a cool design. They look kind of Lovecraftian. Oh, fuck! That was close. Anyway, there's a couple of choices we've actually got of a route here. Did I land on that shroom successfully? I did land on the shroom. Wait a minute, am I not what I thought it was? Oh, we're in Fungal Hall A. I've confused this with Fungal Hall B, which looks literally exactly the same, because almost like they kind of ran out of ideas as, hey! Oh, it got further down here. Right, I'm gonna just head back up there. It's worth noting as well, these mushrooms are no normal mushrooms, these are Phazon-induced mushrooms, so they glow. They're hot because of the Phazon in them. They're also huge. They're actually being used as a way for feck's sake. Yeah, these mushrooms are basically being used by the space pirates so they infuse Phazon into the fungus and then harvest the Phazon-infused fungus and they feed it to both Metroids and the elite pirates as a way of kind of infusing them with Phazon and feeding them at the same time. Quite clever, really. If you scan one of the mushrooms somewhere, it says that. But yeah, I guess it's the Phazon infusement process that's making them actually, like, glow orange. I think this is Bendesium, yeah. That's one of the first times I think we've literally had to use power bombs to advance. Though I suppose it's more common down here. Now here, just need to watch out. Oh, fuck. Basically, you need to boost along these things, because otherwise you will fall into the Phazon. So, whoop, nope. Oh, shit. That went pretty badly. Let's break under that so I can actually get up again and try once more. Gotta use the boost ball. And gotta use it well, actually. And boost! Nope, up! There we go. Ah, nice. And you can actually hear a power up, but nothing we want to actually try and get yet. And let's hit. Nope, wrong missile. Not wrong missile, wrong beam. And now we're into Fungal Hall B. That's basically the same as Fungal Hall A, except slightly darker. So a thermal visor is your friend here. You can use the X-ray visor, kind of, but I think thermal is much better for seeing in the dark. And that's kind of one of the reasons that the mushrooms, I suppose, glow. Oh, but did I hit? I did hit that guy. That's the only issue with the thermal visor. It's sometimes really hard to tell if your shots have hit or not if you're using the ice beam, because obviously the moment your shot actually hits, the enemy goes completely dark, so nearly disappears. Right, this bit, yeah, looks literally exactly the same as the last one, except darker. And this time, what we want to do is come up to the left here, to this red door. And this is one of only two of these things in the game. This is a missile station. It's not a save station, but I'm still going to end the episode here, as if it were a save station. So we have gathered the final few power-ups we wanted to around the place, and now we're going to be, next episode we'll be journeying even further into the heart of the Phazon Mines. Thank you very much, and good day.